Hello everyone. My export innovation project for this term is the Steamworks Brewing Company to Colombia, South America. So let's move on to a little introduction about the company. So the company is a Vancouver-based company, which means it is a Canadian company. But before that, I want to introduce its owner. So his name is Eli Gershkovich. Eli Gershkovich is a Canadian lawyer, and in one of his trips to Europe, he came up with a very life-changing idea for himself. So pretty much he saw all these markets around the beer in Europe, and he thought to himself, what if I take all these, I use Canadian ingredients, I use Canadian agricultural products, and I make a killing product. So pretty much that's what he did. He went to Vancouver, where he's originally from. He found himself in the neighborhood of Gastown, which is a very trendy neighborhood, very close to Vancouver's downtown core. And in this old building, he found these pipes. So pretty much these are steam pipes that were used a long time ago. Of course, these are not the original ones, but they look very similar. And he came up with the idea of steam power brewing. So this was pretty much the final product, and it is what makes his company what it is now. It's part of its aggregate value and what it and a differentiator among other competitors. So nowadays, the company sells many products and it exports many of them. So as an example, Tall Cans, they export to the United States, they export to Europe, many countries in Europe, and they also export to Hong Kong, which means the Asian market. So focusing on to Colombia, some background about the Colombian market. So pretty much the Colombian market needs to be seen as the entry point for the Latin American and Caribbean market, which is 17 times larger than the Canadian market according to the World Bank. So it is huge. There's a free trade agreement in place between Canada and Colombia, so it lowers barriers exponentially, as well as a double taxation agreement, which favors companies. The GDP growth rate of Colombia is higher than the world average, according to Ernst& Young, one of the big fours, and the confidence indexes are going high since a decade ago. Moving on to the business opportunity. So pretty much beer has 93.3% of the share of the alcoholic beverages in Colombia, which means beer is the most consumed alcoholic beverage in the country. Higher premium beer consumption has gone up. As a fact, revenue of one of the largest beer houses in Colombia has gone up by 8.4 points. However, its volume has gone up by only 3.2%, with price held constant, which means that higher premium beers are more popular now. So moving on to my innovation points. So I have two innovation points. The first one has to do with incorporating autochthonous products of Colombia into the brewing process. So as an example, we have goldberries, which are originating from Colombia. And the way I see, and the way I look at it, and the way I did research on it, is that people people want to buy products from companies they trust, and they trust what they know. So if we try to incorporate something that they know into this, we're gonna have them trust the company and buy from us. And also in Vancouver, the Steamworks experience goes above and beyond a simple beer. It is an experience, a gastronomic experience, and so I want to bring this to Colombia, and I think this will be a very important innovation focus that will give the company, of course, an increase in its revenue and hopefully profits. For data analysis, I did a SWOT analysis throughout the report. It is very explained, very detailed. However, for the purpose of this presentation, I'll keep it short and simple. So, for strengths, pretty much the company is a storytelling company. There's a story to tell. There's a value proposition. There is something that makes the company unique, which is really important. It also has the support of the government agencies as Global First Canada. This because they're already an exporter. They have been approved by trade commissioner surveys, by all of these efforts the government does in order to encourage companies to export. So it is very important. For weaknesses, pretty much all the regulations are to be learned. all the licenses to be able to sell consumer products and consumable products as beer in Colombia need to be filed. So it is one of the weaknesses that the company doesn't have that, and also doesn't have a lot of knowledge on the Colombian market. Opportunities, there's a great number of growth opportunities. Of course, the most important one is that Colombia is not only the single market, but could be seen as the entry point for South America and the Caribbean. And for threats, the one that comes very handy right now is the political risks, as some people are going against the government in Colombia, and there's a lot of doubt and a lot of uncertainty when it comes to taxation. So business implications. So of course, business implications are always present. What we need to do is to make sure they're the best possible and that they impact the company in a positive way. So the first one is the help and resources. So it is a proactive way of bringing the business implications towards the positive side. And so it is by planning and structuring. Many help from the TCS and other government agencies are present there. So for sales and revenues, we expect the sales and revenues to be higher. However, as exporting has a longer ROI, profitability might be shown up in not immediately, but after a few years. The business structure might need to be adjusted depending on how it works in Colombia, if it is possible to do it, if it is not. Also, economies of scale, as volume is going to go up, it will be great for the company. It will be a high business implication to allocate resources in different areas around the world, around its production facilities, and so that economies of scale can be reached. For logistics and distributions, of course, there's got to be a lot of logistics and distribution efforts. If they manufacture in Canada, we need to be able to send all of that over to Colombia. And if in the future they set up some plants in Colombia, of course, some logistics and distribution for all other parts of the world. And competitiveness. So pretty much this is the most important for me, and it's the lack of dependence, the backup. Because if they rely only on the Canadian market, just a few markets, what happens if something goes wrong? Instead, if they have plenty of markets, they have some backup opportunities and leverage to be able to stand out of the competitors. As a conclusion, there's a lot of market acceptance, there's a lot of growth possibilities. The two innovation focuses will give the company a competitive advantage. There's the Canada brand, which is really important, it plays an important role as Canada is very trusted around the world. And competitiveness and responsiveness in international markets, as I mentioned, to have a diverse customer base. And also, the company has a proven export success. So the company should take pride and start exporting to the Colombian market using all the available help to bring risks down and possibilities up. These are my references, and thank you so much.